Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're actually going to be comparing two of the most popular luxury credit cards out on the market right now. I would say this rivalry is like Vegeta versus Goku, or Naruto versus Sasuke. This is a big rivalry, okay? These two cards have been competing in the market for as long as I've been in the game for, and what we're gonna do in today's video is just compare which card is better and why, and also give you guys exactly what you guys should do towards the end of the video and exactly the strategy I would go in terms of going about getting one of these cards. So we're gonna make this video very easy to follow along. I'm gonna say this is grandpa-friendly content because according to my analytics, I do have a small elderly audience that watches my videos, unless people are like faking their age with their YouTube accounts. But you know, I got love to all my people watching this video, so we're gonna make this very elderly friendly. And what that means is I'm not gonna go into the nitty gritty details of some of the benefits, like the emergency evacuation dates or the exact return protection window for some of these cards, or the trip protection or primary car rental date. It just that's not the way I want to do it. That would just make this video too long. Frankly, I think that would make this video just a little bit boring. So what we're going to do is cover some of the more important benefits that I gauge as a very important factor in terms of determining whether or not this card is worth it or not. Now, keep in mind, you guys, although I am not going into the exact details and comparing some of those nitty-gritty stuff, you guys can still find out some of those benefits before applying for those cards on different websites. I will have more details linked down below in the description. So here is the video agenda for today's episode. We're going to talk about the similarities of the American Express Platinum Card and the Chase Sapphire Reserve. We're also going to talk about the differences and compare them, and whichever card wins in that respective category, they're going to get a point. Get it? Like point, like credit cards, points. Now, keep in mind, you guys, these cards do share a lot of similarities, but the main similarity that I want to talk about to start off this video is the annual fee. Now, previously in the past, the annual fee on the Chase Sapphire Reserve was $450. It now has the same exact annual fee as the American Express Platinum Card. So if I made this video about 3 or 4 months ago, I would say that the Chase Sapphire Reserve is better in this category, but now they are exactly the same. It is one similarity to add. And in addition to that, this annual fee increase definitely pissed off a lot of YouTubers, a lot of bloggers. I know Sebi made a video on this. I know Graham made a video on this. Even my boy Dave Hansen made a video on this. And I know this is kind of a little bit off topic, but at my gym, there's a guy that looks just like Dave Hansen, except he's like 6'5", like super buff, but they have like the same face and the same hair. Me and Dave have never like really communicated that much. He gave me like a clapping emoji once in my DMs, and I just said thanks. I just want to say, Dave, yo, there's a guy that I know you don't live in the Rockville, Maryland area, but there's a guy at my gym that looks just like you. Anyways, a little off topic, but here's what we're getting into when we're comparing both of these cards. We're going to be talking about the welcome bonus. We're going to be talking about the earning rates. We're going to be talking about the annual statement credits that these cards get. We're going to talk about some of the statuses you guys can get. I'll also give you guys a little cookie on how to, improve that. And we're also going to be talking about lounge access. Now, when we're talking about the welcome bonuses for both of these cards, I'm going to start with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now, with this card, it did actually offer a 100,000 point welcome bonus incentive for the first few months this card came out. But I think Chase realized how much money they were actually losing with that type of offer. So what they actually did was reduce that offer to 50% to 50,000 points once you spend $4,000. So the American Express Platinum Card has a very similar offer to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. This card, you actually have to spend $5,000 in 3 months in order for you to get 60,000 welcome bonus points, but there is a way for you guys to actually still get a 100,000 point offer. Now, usually this is a targeted offer, and there's a couple ways to receive this. If you don't get it in the mail, you guys can use a tool called the Card Match tool. I will have that listed down below in the description. Now, with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you do spend $1,000 less, but you only get 50,000 points compared to the 60,000 points if you spend $1,000 more with the Amex Platinum card. Now, this is really going to be up to you guys and what you value more. To me, I'm actually going to give the lead to the Chase Sapphire Reserve card just because of point redemption. So I do believe that using UR is a lot easier, especially for the type of spending I do. With American Express membership reward points, I really don't find as much value with those points unless I'm transferring them out and doing a little bit more work. But then again, I'm still spending more money to go somewhere farther, to take a longer trip, or to even upgrade my class seat, when usually I'm pretty content with the regular economy seats that they do offer. I'm going to have to give a point to the Chase Sapphire Reserve for me personally, but others may disagree. Some people may want more points, and the fact that you can actually get 100,000 MR points with the American Express Platinum card really does give this opportunity to put it at a top. So it's really, I would say this is a tie, but I would say the Chase Sapphire Reserve actually comes out just a little bit more on top just because of flexibility with point redemption. Okay, now let's talk about the cashback categories and the earning rates that you would get with some of these cards. With the Amex Platinum card, you get 5 points per $1 on travel booked with airlines or through the American Express travel portal. I don't really recommend using the travel portal too often unless maybe they have some crazy promotion, but often you won't find the best deals on the American Express travel portal. UR portal though, it's a safe bet. I usually find very good redemption reward rates on that, especially if you use a card like the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, because it does give you an additional 50% value on your points when you use it through travel on the portal. Now, with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you actually do get 3 points per $1 on travel and dining. That's a big thing. If you don't have a card like the gold card, the dining where you get 3x is a pretty good cashback category. If the American Express Platinum card also had a dining category, that would be game changer, but there's really no need for them to do that just because the gold card is usually most people's everyday driver for food. Now, the Chase Sapphire Reserve also does have a limited promotion where you get 10x back on Lyft rides. This is set to only last till March 2022, but if you're someone who really uses Lyft often, I can definitely see this benefit really just racking you up a lot of points. So when it comes to cashback category, this is really going to be a personal preference, and keep in mind this whole video is really just a personal preference thing. A lot of people are going to value different things and different benefits. To me personally, I'm going to have to go with the American Express Platinum card where you get 5x back on travel. I really do prefer that just because I have a card that's already going to give me 4x back on food, so I don't see myself using the dining 3x. I don't see that being more beneficial for me, and that just leaves it to be competitive with 3x back on travel compared to the 5x back on travel. No brainer, at least for someone who spends like I do. It's going to be the Platinum card that I would use primarily, and that is going to give American Express a point in that category, so we are tied at the moment. So next on the list, we're going to talk about annual statement credits, and we're going to start out with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. It's just a lot easier to explain. Now, originally this card just had a $300 travel statement credit, so anything that codes under travel, you would get reimbursed that amount as statement credit onto your account. And what that means is if I go out, say I take the metro, or say I use my Chase Sapphire Reserve for a toll road, this would all actually categorize as a travel credit. So very easy way for you to get $300 back onto your account, effectively bringing down that $550 annual fee to $250. Now, the Chase Sapphire Reserve came out with 2 more additional benefits. You get a $120 in DoorDash credits. It's split up with $60 in 2020 and then another $60 in 2021. And then on top of that, you get a complimentary Lyft Pink membership. Now, I personally don't value the DoorDash and Lyft benefit too much. I don't really use ride sharing services just because I have my own vehicle and I live in the suburbs, and I don't really use the DoorDash benefit because I use my Uber Eats, or I'll just use Grubhub with my American Express card. So I really don't find too much personal value with services like that. And I've also seen a lot of people state that DoorDash actually does make their meals a lot more expensive on the app. I think that is your miles may vary depending on where you live and how busy things are and what time of the day you order something. But I really don't want to go for a service and say that it's going to help be a direct annual fee credit if they were really just going to upsell you on different things or make things more expensive. Now, the American Express Platinum card has its own set of credits as well too, but to each their own. They both have their own pros and cons, and then I'll share with you guys exactly why I'll give my point to that respective category. Now, to start off, the American Express Platinum card has a $200 airline fee credit. This card also gives you a $200 Uber credit. Now, on top of that, you get a $100 Saks Fifth Avenue credit that is also split up into $50 every 6 months. I personally just buy cologne with it. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys will see me just using these credits and how I like to use them. A good thing about the Uber credit is that even though I don't use the rideshare services, I can use my Uber credit for Uber Eats. So that's a pretty easy benefit to use right there. And now here's the trade-off. The Chase Sapphire Reserve credits, they're a lot easier to use. They don't put any obstacles. They say, here's the credit. You can use it for whatever. We're not going to make it hard. But with American Express, oh boy, they do like putting up some obstacles. They do like making it a little bit of a challenge. Now, there is a business principle called breakage, and this is exactly what American Express is doing. They are making these credits intentionally harder to use so their consumers do not reap the full benefits back onto their account. If they make a certain benefit a lot harder to use and we do not use that benefit, they are still coming out on top because we are still paying that annual fee. Man, you know, it's tough because American Express is making it tougher, but they do offer more monetary value with their card. You know, I do like Chase. I like how flexible it is. But for me personally, as a Brian Jung type of guy who's buying his cologne off Saks, who's using Uber Eats, and then for me, the airline fee credits, I can still find ways to use that. So with all those things being said, I'm gonna give American Express Platinum Card the point in this category. But guys, if you never shop on Saks, if you never use the Uber credit, if you never use ride sharing apps, and you love the flexibility with Chase, that point would obviously go to them. But for me personally, I'm just gonna go with the American Express Platinum Card just because for me, I use it. I find value out of it. And if it came to this or that, I have no problem with going for this or that. That right here, that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is elite status. Now, who doesn't love having status? Who doesn't love walking into somewhere where you get more acknowledgement, you get more free things, you get upgrades? Status is, I think, one of the best perks in this life. Now, this is actually going to be a very simple point that I can give to American Express, but let me tell you guys why. Now, with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you get Emerald Club Executive Elite with National Car. But with American Express, you actually get status with hotels too, not just with car rentals. So you get gold status with Hilton, you get Marriott Bonvoy gold status there as well. You also get car status too, the same thing that the Chase Sapphire Reserve card has. But here is a cookie that I mentioned earlier in the video. You guys can do something called status matching. This is basically where you take the free status you get from a credit card and you then match that over to other different casinos, hotels, or other loyalty programs. Now, there is a website called statusmatcher.com. This will basically give you data points on people's success or failures trying to status match one way to another. Now, here's what I'll tell you guys. I have status just from the Platinum card to these different places. And with that, I matched it to so many different things. I have President's Circle with Hertz. I then match that over to Avios. I also have status with National Car. And when you have high statuses with these different car rentals, not only can you get like the best car on the lot, but they will give you additional benefits. Sometimes it will actually allow you to bring in the car a lot later. Sometimes it depends on the location, it depends on the time of year, it depends on who you're working with. If you have status and they want to recognize it, they will just give you much better benefits. Now, I also went to the Bahamas completely for free, basically for free other than the overpriced food and the water that just tasted awful. I did get a free trip to the Bahamas. I didn't have to do anything except status matching over from my gold status over to this. These are things that gurus will charge you guys thousands of dollars to learn. It is just free information that is available online. I've made videos on my channel just talking about how I did this, talking about status matching, but easily, without a doubt, there's no comparison. If we're talking about statuses and which card is better, the CSR or the Platinum, it's gonna go to the Platinum. You guys can do so much. It takes a little bit of research and you can get elite status, you can get free nights, you can get free just feeling like a boss just by getting this one card right here. So the Platinum card is actually gonna take another point in this category. Okay, so for the last one, we're actually going to be talking about lounge access, and this is pretty interesting. Now, if you're someone who really values priority pass and like free meals, then the Chase Sapphire Reserve is going to be the hands down the card to go with. But if you're someone who wants to value other lounges, additional lounges, and things like the Centurion Lounge, then the American Express Platinum card is the way you want to go. Now, I remember in 2019, one of the benefits that I had over the Platinum card compared to the Reserve card was that I stayed at an auto show for a little bit in Vegas called SEMA. SEMA is basically one of the biggest car auto shows around, and they had an American Express lounge. Now, you could really have any American Express card to get access to this lounge, but it just really made me realize and feel more fortunate to have an American Express card because this is a jam jam-packed place, and you could get free coffee in this lounge. You can chill, you can relax when everyone is walking around going crazy in this giant conference thingy with cars and vehicles. So for me personally, when it comes down to status, I'm going to value the American Express Platinum card just a little bit more, and that's because this card does offer Centurion Lounge access, and I have found other American Express lounges. I'm not really biased on this just because I do see the benefit with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card too, but Chase doesn't really have something like the Centurion Lounge. They don't have, like, you know, the Chase Freedom Lounge or anything cool to that nature. They just got, you know, they just have Priority Pass Lounge. Now for me, what I'm justifying in this situation is really quantity and quality. You know, American Express has the prestige, they have different lounges, and you have more options with this. Here you may get more food with the Priority Pass and getting your credits back, but for me, if I find a Centurion Lounge, I'm getting free food anyways from here too, and that automatically defeats the PP on this side. So for me, the point is going to go to American Express. So that was my video on the Chase Sapphire Reserve versus the Platinum card. I personally like the Platinum card, but you guys can feel free to disagree. And if you guys do, let me know down below in the comments why you would or why you do agree. Now, in addition to the benefits that I did state in this video, I've used other benefits with the Platinum card that I really did find value from. I really like the Platinum Concierge Service. I made a video on that. That's a pretty good one that you guys can check out. I also made a video just using the purchase protection on the Platinum card. And on top of that, the Platinum card is actually a lot easier to get than the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now, keep in mind, you guys, these are two very high tier luxury cards in the credit card game. Some people will look at both of these cards as the highest tier aside from like the JP Morgan card or the Centurion card or maybe like a co-branded like Ritz-Carlton card. These cards are up there in terms of annual fee, in terms of viability for us consumers actually getting. They're really the top in the game. So even if you go with one card over the other, chances are you're not going to make a big mistake. But the only thing you should really concern yourself with is that break-even point on these credit cards. Make sure you're able to find value on these credit cards. If you are unable to use the Saks credit, the Uber credit, the DoorDash, the Lyft, or the travel statement credit, if you can't use those credits and you're just holding onto these cards, you're just burning money. You're just wasting money. But if you use those benefits, if you can recoup the 5X, if you can recoup the statuses, the car rental, the purchase protection, the concierge, if you value those things, you will find these cards to be some of the most valuable cards in your wallet. Now guys, I really hope this video did help you guys out. If you guys have any additional thoughts, feedbacks, comments, or questions, let me know down below in the comment section of this video. And if you guys have not yet smashed that like button, don't forget to do so. Now, in addition to that, you guys, thank you so much for tuning by this video. And if you guys want to support this channel in any way, I do have affiliate links down below for any one of these cards. There's no obligation to use any of those links, but if you guys do want to support the channel, if you guys do find any type of value, and if you guys just want to watch a homeboy grow, those are easy ways to support this channel without you guys having to lose anything. But like always, regardless if you do or you don't, I just want to say thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. Peace.